right. My apologies. This ended up inadvertently being a 4-part set because my son called me through at the end of that last video that I was doing, and he waits for nobody. His mom got him a smartwatch for Christmas that has a phone app, and we talk to each other every night when he's not with me. So I was trying to get this done before his call. His mom usually lets him stay up later than he should, but tonight he actually called about 15 minutes earlier than he normally does. So I had to cut that video off, and now have to make this a 4-part on the fly. I again do apologize, but you know, life happens, right? So as I was saying, throughout the year of 2024, I've had 8 surgical procedures, 7 on my foot, and then the one to remove my old port. I also had a stent placed in my heart last year as well. But I've had a total of 7 surgeries on my right foot, and it has definitely been a struggle and a journey. As I was saying, as far as the co-payments with the eye doctor, it's costing me about $100 every visit, and for my mortgage and my utilities, you know, and trying to pay for groceries and gas in my parents' Jeep. I've tried to juggle and make it work, but I just can't. My mortgage isn't too terribly bad, especially for a 2-story house on a little piece of land. Because I'm paying 2022 mortgage rates. I've heard the current rates are so much worse, and that if I had gotten this mortgage on my house now, I would be paying, you know, much closer to $3,000 a month, if not more than that. I was managing to make do before August of 24, when my property taxes and my home insurance went up, and it took my mortgage payments from $1,700 a month to a little over $1,800 a month, and that has made it very difficult. I'm currently trying to find different programs to help me get a deduction on my property taxes because of my health, potentially one on my home insurance, and there is some possibility of reducing my interest. How much, I don't know. If I could get my mortgage payment back, you know, down to the $1,700 range, I could make that work. If I could get it below that, you know, that would be amazing. But right now, it's just to the point where it's not workable. I've had a lot of people say, well, you know, why don't you sell the house? I have a lot of reasons for not selling the house. The 2 most important reasons for not selling the house is, 1, it would not be financially beneficial for me to do so, because I have a $245,000 mortgage on my home, and I because of my finances, have only been able to make the minimum payment every month. So even though I've been paying on it for 4 years now, I still owe roughly $241,000 on my home. And if I were to sell my house, I would not be able to sell it for an amount where I could pay off my mortgage and then get something else. I would be forced to rent. There would be no place, there's no place in St. Johns County, Florida, where I live, that I could afford to rent. I would have to go to a less populated county, a much smaller town in the interior of the state, and I would then be creating problems for myself because I would be putting distance between me and my doctors. I would be putting distance between me and any of the specialists that I need to see, making, my very necessary doctor's appointments much more difficult to manage and much more costly to manage than what they already are. I can't see, I can't drive. I have to depend on my parents to come here from the next county over to take me everywhere. So I have to be able to make sure there's gas to put in their tank. And my parents unfortunately live in a small, rundown mobile home. They physically do not have room for me. And I don't have anywhere else to go. So I have a nice house. It's an older house, but it's a nice house. It's in good shape. It's in a good neighborhood. It's a safe place for my son. And there's no financial benefit to me selling my house. So that's why I don't do that. And then also, if I were to do that, that would mean losing my son, and that would mean losing every reason I have for continuing to fight this fight. Every day I get up is for him. If I didn't have him, I honestly wouldn't give a fuck. Again, pardon my French. I try not to use profanity on here. I realize I have a lot of, potentially have a lot of viewers, listeners that do not agree with that type of language. And I already try not to use it around my son. But I'm better at excluding that language around my son than I am when I'm talking to my phone in my darkened kitchen alone. And I am not above using that sort of language in my daily life. This just is what it is. But my son is my reason to keep going. And if I don't have him, I'm very certain that I would probably just give up eventually, because my life has gone to hell in a handbasket in the past 10 years. I used to be a very physical, very active person. I'm 6'4". I used to be, I used to weigh in 265 pounds of solid muscle. I could pick up a Ford 302 engine block off a flat cart and set in the back of my pickup truck, with my bare hands. I used to be very into traditional martial arts, mountain biking, skateboarding, hiking, anything I could do outside. And I can't do any of that anymore. I'm an old-fashioned gearhead. I love working on old cars. And I've lost, virtually all of that ability. It's very painful for me to lay down on the ground now. I used to be, Paul Bunyan strong. almost Paul Bunyan big and definitely Paul Bunyan strong, and it's all gone. I'm trying to regain enough of it to function, to get a job and live, but everything I used to love about life is gone. You know, I used to play the guitar. I was never particularly good at it. You know, I was good enough to make a little noise and make it sound okay. But I didn't need to be good at it. I loved doing it. And I can't do that anymore. Neuropathy has gotten so bad that, you know, I can't make the chords anymore. I don't have the grip strength to make the chords anymore. My life has gone to shit. And it certainly hasn't been for lack of me trying to prevent it. But, you know, that chemotherapy and that radiation changed me to a point that I am unrecognizable to myself. I still look in the mirror or look at my face here on this camera, and I don't recognize who I see. You know, I've changed so much. And you know, I'm 41. I'll be 42 this June. And most days I feel 142. I'm just now getting over a virus, a bug that I've had for over a month. You know, most people kick it in a week and a half. I've had it for over a month. My immune system is shot to hell. And the chemotherapy and radiation affected me in so many ways that I haven't even talked about on here. I have a lot of other health problems. My body has changed in so many ways, and none of them for the good. It affected the enamel in my teeth to the point where my teeth have basically started falling apart. That's a process that's been going on for the past 5 or 6 years now. And something I would dearly love to fix, but again, I can't afford. So I have to deal with constant, unimaginable pain with my teeth, and the embarrassment of, you know, having shitty teeth. No other way to put it. But, you know, the most important thing right now is being able to make sure that the mortgage is paid, I keep the lights on, I keep food in the fridge, and, you know, I can keep my son in my life and stay in his life, and, you know, just try to live our lives. That's all I'm doing. I'm just trying to survive. I'm trying not to end up homeless. I'm trying to provide for my son. I'm trying to get to a point where I can physically go back to work. You know, for right now, just a part-time job to supplement the SSDI. I dearly want to be able to get to a point where I can go back to work and give up the SSI and, you know, earn my own way, make my own way, hold my head up. That's what I want. I need it. And I'm trying to get there. And I need a little help to get there. Medicare also screwed me last year, again in August. They stopped paying for my Part B premiums. I mentioned that I have to pay for my Part B out of pocket. I didn't always have to. Medicare was paying for it. But they stopped paying for my Part B premiums in August of last year of 24. They did not tell me. I did not get a letter. I did not get an email, phone call, text message, carrier pigeon, smoke signal, nothing. And Social Security did not bother to deduct it from my monthly checks until November of last year, of 2014. So when they deducted it for August, September, October, November. And when I got my November check, it was $524 short. And I did not have enough to pay the mortgage and the utilities. So it was pay the mortgage or pay the utilities. I paid the utilities and bought groceries because, like my electric provider, they are cutthroats, man. They have, in the past year, they have doubled my rates, and they do not want to work with you. My fault, your fault, nobody's fault, their fault. You better have their money when they want it. They give you an extension, but then you got to pay more, and they're quick to shoot that final notice. So I ended up a month behind on the mortgage in November. I made December's payment, and then come January, my parents' Jeep had a mechanical failure. I'm a mechanic. I knew what was wrong with it. I could have fixed it, but I was not physically capable of getting to them. And we do have a family friend that lives not too far from them that was fortunately able to, at the end of the week, go pick my dad up, take him to AutoZone, and get the parts. They had to use my card for the parts because I live on my Social Security. My dad lives on his. And, we just barely managed to make it. And basically their Jeep needed a tune-up. The ignition coil had failed, and the distributor cap, the contacts in the distributor cap was going bad, and the rotor button is supposed to be spring-loaded. It was not. The spring was gone, deteriorated. It was long overdue for a tune-up. And, a tune-up on a 32-year-old Jeep Cherokee cost almost $160. And that was just mind-blowing to me because, I used to do tune-ups on V8s, and $60. But I had to put that money into their Jeep and, a couple other things to get it back on the road. And because, like I said, their Jeep is their only transportation, and right now it's my only transportation. Yes, I have transportation benefits with United Healthcare, but I have limits, and I have to be able to schedule every transportation 3 days ahead. I can't do it, there is no, can I get a ride tomorrow? It's got to be a minimum of 3 days. And unfortunately, life isn't so convenient all the time. So I ended up 2 months behind, but I was able to make January's payment for this month, and I may be able, because the 1st of March is a Saturday, so I should get paid a couple days before that. I may be able to get February's, but I'll still be a month behind, and if not, I need to work on my eyes. If not, I'll end up being 2 months behind. I'm not looking for someone to pay my way. I'm not looking for someone to pay all my bills. I'm not looking for, a fairy godmother. I just need a little bit of help to catch up. Unfortunately, I am in the position now where I need about $4,000 or $5,000 to get current on my mortgage and see this through with my eyes. We're thinking maybe another 4 treatments, and then hopefully I'll be able to get glasses, but we're not sure. And I don't have anywhere else to go. I don't have anybody that I can just borrow money from. My circle is very small, and the few people that I do know are working men. Like I said, they don't have, a couple $1,000s to lend out. And I seem to be in this funny position where, I don't make quite enough money to get by, but I make too much money to qualify for a lot of the different aid programs that are out there to help you with, your light bill or to help you with your mortgage. It's like there's this funny little point where you can fall into it and you make just a little bit too much, but you don't quite make enough, and there's nothing for it. Nobody, you know, it's just the way it is. So GoFundMe is the only other option I can think of. I'm not, this campaign is not frivolous. I've seen some on there that were, kind of BS to me. When I first started, there was a woman in her late 20s. There was nothing wrong with her. She was healthy, she was strong. She wasn't in particularly bad shape, but she was trying to raise money to go backpacking across Europe to find herself. And she had something like $60,000 raised. And that blew my mind. And that was one reason why I decided to start a GoFundMe campaign. Because, I figured, if somebody can have a campaign like that and get somewhere, then maybe I can get somewhere with mine. And I have, you can see I've, gotten like $5,600 on here. And I am so very grateful for that. But, that money has been spent to, help with medical bills, to help adjust to life as an amputee around my home. A great deal of it has been put towards gas. And, I would love to say that I have that money available, but I don't. I end up having to use it as it comes in. God, I hate asking, people for money. I hate asking people for help. It makes me sick. It does. But I'm going to fail if I don't. I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose my son. I'm going to lose my home. I'm going to end up homeless. And I used to say I'm going to end up living out of the back of my truck, but I couldn't even do that right now because I can't see to drive it. So I'm not looking for a handout. I just need a hand up. And if I can repay you, I most certainly will. I can't guarantee that. Maybe, I'll write the next great American novel one day. I used to always want to be an author when I was younger. I may not, I can't promise I can repay it, but I can promise that I will one day at least pay it forward. Because I am bound and determined to fight every way I can. And that's what I'm doing here with GoFundMe. I'm swallowing my pride, and I'm very much not proud of it, but I'm asking for help. So if you feel my cause is worthy, and you can and would like to help out, you have my eternal gratitude. And please, if you're a little guy, like me, and you don't have it to give, please don't try to give. A lot of the donations I have gotten have been from people that have had to, say, can I do this, before they do it. And I know what it's like, to live on the leanest kind of budget. I know what it's like to go hungry so my son doesn't. I know what it's like to wonder how I'm going to make it. I don't want people that are in that same boat to be the ones that, you know, reach into their pocket to help my sorry ass out. I don't. I realize I can't, you know, determine that. My goal is to, you know, find some philanthropic foundation organization that, you know, just does stuff like this. I'm going to be trying to send this out, you know, and get it out there. So if you can and would like to help, I deeply appreciate it. If you can't, and, you know, all you can do is offer prayers and a good luck, I will happily accept that as well. Feel free to ask questions. I will happily answer questions in the comments. My eyes make it difficult for me to read the comments now, but if I can, I will. And if I need to make another video about a specific topic, I'll do that as well. Thank you all very much for taking the time to watch these videos and listen to me ramble. And I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're safe, happy, and healthy. Thank you so much, and goodbye.